Hi, my name is Anthony Rizzo. For my project, I decided to conduct a series of interviews with my Asian American housemates in an effort to better understand how stereotypes affect the Asian American community. These are all people that I live with every single day, and I talk to them every day, and I have honestly never asked them how these stereotypes affect them and how these stereotypes affect their everyday lives. So I thought it would be a pretty interesting project to interview my own friends and see how they feel about Asian American stereotypes. But what are some Asian American stereotypes that come to mind?
Asians can't drive.
Bad driving.
Asians can't drive. All Asians are intelligent.
Good at math.
Asians have small penises.
Small penises.
Small penises. Probably top 3 right there.
We're all feminine.
Asian men are feminine. I think I've heard ish, and that Asian women are submissive.
We all eat fish.
Asians eat weird things, like not just weird things, but like dog, or things that aren't exactly compatible with Western culture.
We're all Chinese.
Oh, all Asians speak Chinese, so all Asians are Chinese basically.
We all know Kung Fu.
Like Kung Fu or some sort of martial arts.
Have any of these stereotypes affected you growing up or your daily life today?
The most annoying part was when I do something right, or I guess I should say skillfully. They would just say that it's because I'm Asian, and I think that was the most annoying thing. That it's not based on skill or I worked hard. It's just because I was Asian, I was doing well in school. Because I was Asian, I was flexible.
And it didn't really hit until I was in later elementary school, because I'm half white, half Asian, and growing up I didn't grow up in America. My dad was military, so we traveled, and I was never seen overseas as the Asian kid. I have a white last name. Asians think I look white sometimes, so I was just seen as the American. But when I came here, I think it was probably 3rd or 4th grade. First time someone ever called me Chinaman, and I've never heard the term before.
I guess that led to some identity issues. I just try to pull away from, labeling myself as Asian. I started calling myself Pacific Islander because I'm half Japanese, I'm half white, and so I was just oh yeah, Japan's an island in the Pacific Ocean. And so I tried to pull away from that labeling, and most people thought I was Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, and I thought that was cooler growing up. So yeah, when someone calls me Hawaiian, I didn't fix it or correct them. Now growing up, I'm proud to be half Japanese and half white, and I label myself a Hapa if I have to label myself, because I feel that's a separate culture in itself. But that's about it.
Food. I don't like fish. I don't like to eat weird stuff. I don't like organs and stuff like that. And people are always sometimes genuinely surprised when I tell them. They're like, oh, I tell them I don't like fish, and but you're Asian. So I run into that pretty often, actually. I guess there's also a stereotype that Asian guys always want a white girl. That seems to be a stereotype that's pretty common. And I find myself almost subconsciously trying to fight against that stereotype. Even if I don't have a preference, and I really don't, but it's almost people or society expects you to do a certain thing, so you subconsciously just almost resist it. That's something that probably still affects me today, to what degree.
So how do you feel about the portrayal of Asian Americans in the media?
They're definitely the side characters. They're never fulfilling the main role. They're usually the bad guys, or someone that's nerdy or geeky. For example, a month ago I saw a commercial, and I noticed that the Asian character or actress was coming off really mean or kind of ridiculous, and it kind of hit home a little too hard, because I saw myself in that, because I'm I identify as an Asian American male, so it's just like it kind of just puts Asians in a bad light, and the media definitely kind of reinforces that.
I think they're definitely not center stage, like in any capacity, really. As in like when it comes to Hollywood, because even though you have some stars like Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee or say like a Jet Li, they're only the stars because they perform a certain role, and that's kung fu. So they're not recognized as actors, as like great actors. They're just recognized as, oh, you can do kung fu, and that's their like bread and butter. But in terms of other media, yeah, you don't really see Asians in leading roles. You might see them in like a lot of roles, but they're like, you know, they're either the bad guy or they're like the nerdy, just like the side character. Like I don't even know of a Hollywood movie outside of like a Jackie Chan movie where it's like an Asian was the protagonist. So when it, you know, like if certain stereotype exists, but no one really like takes any action, then it sort of just dies out. But if the media picks up on it, if like movies are all about it and they sort of exacerbate the situation, then yeah, it just gets worse and worse. You know, for all the talk about, you know, like breaking down stereotypes for other ethnicities, there's not really that much talk for Asians. You know, there's like Black History Month, there's like Hispanic History Month. There's a lot of action on other ethnic groups, you know, even Native Americans. But you know, as someone who's like part Asian myself, I don't think there's an Asian History Month. There's just not that kind of movement. And I think the media definitely has a lot to do with it.